the island will see deteriorating weather conditions, including rain and the onset of tropical storm force winds. At this moment, I can confirm that all public services remain operational. However, the EMO will continue to monitor the storm to determine if any further steps need to be taken. At this stage, all government offices will be open tomorrow and services will be operating as normal. Public transportation is currently operating according to schedule, but it may be impacted tomorrow based on the weather conditions. Again, should there be any changes, the public will be updated accordingly. As you know, public schools have yet to resume, so we are grateful that our students will not be impacted. Aleph Bay International Airport remains open per normal. Those who are traveling are encouraged to check with their respective airlines for any changes. The Ministry of Transport has advised that the Royal Caribbean Mariner of the Seas departed earlier today at 7 a.m. instead of their usual 3 p.m. The Carnival Magic will depart at 6 p.m. today instead of tomorrow. And the Norwegian Getaway has canceled her call, which was scheduled for Friday. From a public safety standpoint, as we shared yesterday, our South Shore beaches are seeing significant swells and rip currents. These are very dangerous conditions for swimmers and mariners, and our lifeguards have been working tirelessly over the last day or so to provide assistance to swimmers. So, I'm urging those who decide to venture into the ocean on the South Shore to please exercise caution and also a bit of common sense. Finally, as a reminder, September and October are peak storm months for us. This last week, we have been monitoring Danielle, Earl, and another disturbance which is forming off the west coast of Africa. So, Bermuda, we must continue to exercise preparedness. Hurricane Earl is a timely reminder to check our emergency and storm supplies. Now is the time to replenish your provisions if needed. This includes non-perishable goods, batteries, water, and any relevant medical supplies. From a safety standpoint, if needed, residents should also make any minor home repairs and secure any outdoor furniture. And please, above all, check on those who are most vulnerable. Make sure they have the necessities they need to navigate this busy storm system. These are the basic steps that have worked well in helping us successfully weather previous storms. The EMO executive will meet again tomorrow morning to get the latest update regarding Hurricane Earl. Following that meeting, we will provide another public update. Thank you.
All right, members of the media, thank you very much. Thank you, Minister, for your comments. I'd like to invite Gary Foster Skelton from the Bermuda Broadcasting Company to field any questions as it relates to the minister's comments regarding Hurricane Earl.
Good afternoon, Minister. Good afternoon, Mr. Kosham. Could I ask just clarity on what we are expecting in terms of the winds that we're going to get right now? I understand we're expecting tropical storm force winds and gusts of up to 50 knots. Could you just clarify when those are expected to start? We expected to start feeling those.
I'd like to hand that question over to my Durham chairman. Just a little more.
Yep, so let me have a look at the timings from Bermuda Weather Service. So at the moment, and the storm is still 2 days away, so that's why we're meeting tomorrow. We're expecting 7 p.m., the wind threshold of 35 knots, which is tropical storm force winds to start. Sorry, that's 7 p.m. on Thursday. And that will last until 6 a.m. on Friday morning. And that's winds from 35 knots going up to 42 knots. But this will be revised again tomorrow morning.
Okay. And obviously it's all in motion right now, but we did see today, in fact, a bit of a change in the track that changed back. The 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. Updates showed Earl actually coming about 20 miles closer to the island than previously predicted, and then now it's gone back to 101 miles. What's causing this variation?
So when the hurricanes come off Africa, we see them make that banana curve below to our south, and they curve towards the island and then to the northeast. And when they make that curve, there's always some variance in the track. When it goes in a straight line, it's a lot more confidence in the track. So it's varied by 17 nautical miles, which I think isn't very much. It's a lot to Bermuda because it's so close to us. But the forecasting is a very high degree of confidence from Bermuda Weather Service and the National Hurricane Center in the track, but they have a lower degree of confidence in the intensity of Hurricane Earl.
And yes, I was speaking to Acting Director Michelle Pitcher yesterday that the intensity was causing some degree of uncertainty because it was coming out of an area of wind shear into warmer waters. And it's now becoming a Cat 3 earlier. Every update, it's becoming it's stronger earlier. In fact, it's becoming a Cat 4 about the following day when it's past us. What's the wild card here? Are ocean temperatures something of a wild card when it comes to predicting if and when a storm will increase or drop in intensity? Can you speak to us about that?
I'll be purely guessing. I mean, we haven't seen any activity in August, and we know that when we do see hurricane activity, it stirs up the top 100 miles or so, sorry, 100 feet, 200 feet of the ocean, it stirs it up. So we get some cooler water coming up. We haven't seen any hurricanes, so we haven't had that disturbance.
Right. So when it comes to disruption right now, you said you're not seeing any changes to public services yet, but with it becoming stronger early, each update, it seems to be becoming stronger earlier. Are there concerns that actually we're going to start getting those winds a little bit earlier? We may have to, some services might be disrupted.
I think that we are going to see tropical storm force winds, but we would be negligent if we didn't have contingency plans in place should the storm bobble a little bit to the left and come closer to Bermuda. And so that's why we had a meeting today to make sure everybody is prepared. And we're meeting again tomorrow morning to make sure we can put into action any contingency plans we need to put into action. And time is on our side, because if the storm should move closer to us and we're impacted by higher force winds, it's going to be Thursday evening. So we would have the daylight to have work as normal, school as normal, people can get home from normal. It may well be the nighttime economy has to close a little earlier if the winds come a bit closer. So we have that luxury to put those plans in place should it be needed.
And you did mention, Minister, issues on South Shore, people going out into the water with the high surf, and the Coast Guards, the lifeguards having to perhaps take care of some of the people, rescues. Is that becoming more of an issue when facing this? There's some daredevils like this kind of chance to surf or enjoy the water in that way. Is this a problem that you're facing?
I don't know if it's a problem, but it happens almost every season. People like to go out and challenge the surfer and swim and that surfboards activity that people use. But we have to remind people that, even when you're out doing that, remember that the lifeguards, have to put themselves at risk to make sure that our public is safe also. So we are asking the public, we are begging that people use common sense with their need to be daredevils, but they remember that those that come out to save you are also putting themselves at risk.
And my final question would just be, obviously, Friday is the beginning of the testing for back to school. You mentioned that it's not disrupting the public schools going back, but obviously we have a testing schedule Friday, Saturday, Sunday for parents and children and guardians with children in public school. Are there any concerns or backup plans if that testing, especially on Friday, gets disrupted?
Well, at this point, it's a little early to determine whether or not any services on Friday will be disrupted. But the Department of Education is definitely a part of our EMO team. So everybody's on board and everybody's monitoring the storm as needed.
Thank you, Minister.
Jonathan Bell from the Royal Gazette.
And thanks, everyone. Thanks for having us. I guess to start off with, just for the benefit of folks listening, if I'm correct, if this hurricane continues on the track that we're seeing, does that mean if it's passing to the east that it'll be the North Shore rather than the South Shore that's bearing the brunt of the winds?
Yes, so the wind direction from Bermuda Weather Service changes as it goes round. So it's going to start off at 60 degrees, and then as it goes past us, it's going to come then from 360 degrees. So the wind direction will change. So it goes like that. It's
Anti-clockwise.
and the weaker side of the hurricane is on the left side. And as the hurricane is passing Bermuda on the right, it's the best side for Bermuda to experience the less impactful winds.
Thank you. I was curious, this is piggybacking a little on Gary's question, but there were rescues yesterday, but lifeguards were actually having to rescue people from the water minister. I mean, how bad was it? It seems like that was a little early for that to be happening.
I don't have a lot of numbers, but every time there's bad weather coming or tropical storm or whatever, you get the daredevils that sit and wait for that action. But the riptides have definitely been increasing. And as a result, that has made the lifeguards a little busier than normal.
I think that's all for, I guess as well, if we're having these warm seas, does that mean that, now that we haven't had hurricanes in the loosest possible sense, because we've had a relatively hurricane-free season, is it looking like September and October could be acting up perhaps more than they usually might? Obviously, just as a perhaps rather than you can't predict.
I mean, it could be. If you look at the National Hurricane Center, they have a storm that is currently west of the Cabo Verde Islands and another storm that's coming off of Africa now. So they have predicted we're going to see one every week or every 10 days come out for the next few weeks.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you very much, members of the media, for your participation today. And thank you, Minister, and thank you, Steve, for your briefings to the public this afternoon. That concludes our update today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.